This is the perfect timing we're waiting for. The Shiba Inu devs just dropped a crazy leak. A massive secret has just been revealed. Trillions of Shiba Inu are on the move. The 1 cent dream is looking closer than you think. What is happening? And what on earth am I even talking about? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. Something big has just dropped today, and no one saw it coming. The Shiba Inu dev team just shook the entire community with a massive surprise. It's not just a small update or teaser. This is something that could completely change the game for Shiba Inu. They've hinted at what's coming next, and it's big enough that it could push the price to a whole new level. Maybe even delete a few zeros, or who knows? Maybe even bring us one step closer to that dream of hitting a full cent. But here's the wild part. It doesn't stop there. On top of this huge reveal, something even more insane just happened today. Trillions, and yes, trillions of Shiba Inu tokens have just been recorded moving across the network. That kind of activity doesn't happen for no reason. It's usually a strong signal that something massive is brewing. Whether it's accumulation, big buys, or strategic positioning, this is the kind of movement that sends shockwaves through the market. Now you might be thinking, okay, this sounds exciting, but has any of this actually affected the chart yet? Well, one analyst broke it down, and here's what's really happening right now. Shiba Inu did see a dip recently, about 15% down from its July peak. But let's be honest, that's not just Shiba Inu. The whole altcoin market has been feeling the heat. Even giants like Ethereum, Bitcoin have taken a step back. It's part of a broader cooldown, most likely from traders taking profits after the explosive run we saw in June. But here's the part that gives us serious hope. Despite the dip, Shiba Inu has found solid ground. It's now holding steady at a key support level that has historically been super reliable. And technical patterns are starting to line up in a bullish way. One of them is known as the cup and handle, a strong signal that a big breakout could be coming. If that pattern plays out, we could be looking at a move that's around 60% higher than where we are now. And that's not all. There's also a double bottom pattern forming. And that's another classic setup that hints at a reversal to the upside. The price target from that could take us back to the same highs we saw earlier this year. That would be a massive win for holders who stayed patient. Of course, nothing moves in a straight line. If for some reason we slip below a key level of support, that bullish setup could get a little shaky. But for now, all eyes are on whether Shiba Inu can keep holding strong, especially while the rest of the market is still trying to find direction. So with this huge announcement from the dev team, combined with the trillions in movement and bullish chart setups, it's hard not to feel excited. Shiba Inu isn't just sitting around anymore, things are heating up, and this could be the calm before a major rally. So what just happened? Well, something really interesting just came out, and it's catching fire in the Shiba Inu community. A Shiba Inu affiliated account on X called Shibizens, which often drops updates straight from the dev team, just made a post that got everyone talking. They decided to speak directly to the Shiba Inu army about one of Shibarium's core tokens, Bone. And what they revealed? It's not just a joke, it's not just a meme. Bone apparently has a secret, and it's a big one. In their post, Shibizens laid it all out. They reminded everyone that Bone isn't just floating around in the ecosystem for fun. It actually plays a huge role in how Shibarium works. Bone powers the entire Shibarium Layer 2 network. It's the gas, it's the governance through the DAO, and most importantly, it has a hand in helping to burn Shiba Inu itself. Yeah, you heard that right. Bone helps burn Shiba Inu. Here's how it works. Every time someone makes a transaction on Shibarium, they pay gas fees using Bone. Now a portion of those fees are set aside. Once enough has been collected, those Bone tokens are automatically converted into Shiba Inu and then sent straight into dead wallets, never to be touched again. That means every single transaction is slowly shrinking the Shiba Inu supply. On top of that, anyone can go on the official Shiba Inu website right now and burn their own Shiba Inu manually using the public burn portal. It's all part of the vision to make Shiba Inu more scarce, more valuable, and more powerful. Now think about what that really means long term. As more people use Shibarium, more Bone is spent. The more Bone is used, the more Shiba Inu gets burned. And with every burn, the supply goes down. Lower supply, rising demand, and boom, that's how we get serious upward pressure on the price. That's how we start closing the gap between today's value and that legendary 1 cent dream the community has been holding on to. And we can actually see the hype building right now. In just the last 24 hours, whales moved an absolutely jaw-dropping amount. Over 615 trillion Shiba Inu tokens. That's not a typo. These massive holders just made their biggest move in a month. And that kind of activity doesn't happen without a reason. According to market analyst Furzy, this sudden spike in whale action is a classic setup. It often happens right before the market starts shaking things up. When the big players start shifting trillions, it usually means something major is on the horizon. What does this mean? It could be renewed interest, serious accumulation, or a smart repositioning play. Either way, it's a strong signal. Whales don't move for fun. They move for opportunity. And the timing? Pretty perfect. Shiba Inu has just broken out of a long stretch of sideways movement. After months of being stuck in consolidation, it's now testing a critical level that often acts as the dividing line between a flat market and a full-on breakout. Furzy pointed out that momentum is strong, and even the RSI, a key technical indicator, is flashing bullish signals. But that's not all. Another respected crypto analyst, Javon Marks, recently highlighted something even more exciting. He spotted a huge inverse head and shoulders pattern forming, one of the most powerful bullish patterns in crypto. And right now, Shiba Inu is sitting in the final phase of that setup, the last shoulder. If it plays out the way it should, this could launch the price into a massive rally, potentially over 4 times higher from where we are now. Marks also connected this pattern to another breakout target, suggesting that this could be the very move that starts a 5 times run-up. That's not just wishful thinking. It's based on the chart, the structure, and the momentum we're already seeing. So the signs are clear. From massive whale movement, to breakouts from long-term patterns, to technical indicators lining up. It's all showing that Shiba Inu is gaining serious strength. Right now, we're not just seeing potential. We're seeing action, momentum, and a possible setup for one of the biggest moves in months. Shiba Inu is no longer in waiting mode. It's gearing up. And even looking at the long term, Shiba Inu still looks solid, especially now that the whales are officially back in the game. Just recently, Shiba Inu experienced one of the wildest on-chain shifts we've seen in a long time. And this wasn't because of a meme, a trending hashtag, or a sudden retail pump. This was serious, calculated movement, and it came from the big players. On July 23rd, net flows into large Shiba Inu wallets exploded. We're talking a jump from just under 20 billion tokens the day before, all the way up to a mind-blowing over 4 trillion in just 24 hours. That's a spike of more than 25,000%. Let that sink in. This isn't the kind of movement that happens every day. When you see that level of inflow into whale wallets, it's a massive signal that something is brewing behind the scenes. Whether it's smart money positioning for a major run, inside confidence about the project's next move, or accumulation before a breakout, this kind of spike usually comes right before big things unfold. And here's why this is so important for the long-term vision, especially that 1-cent dream. Massive whale accumulation doesn't just show confidence, it tightens the circulating supply. When billions, or in this case, trillions of tokens are locked up by whales, it leaves less available in the market. Combine that with Shiba Inu's consistent burn mechanism through Bone, Shibarium, and the public burn portal, and what you get is a shrinking supply paired with rising interest. That's the magic formula. Low supply, high demand. So while price might take its time to build up, these movements are laying the foundation. The dev team is active. The community is holding strong. And now, the whales are quietly loading up in the background. That's the kind of behind-the-scenes action that often lights the fuse for the next explosive move. This isn't hype. It's what serious accumulation looks like, and it could be one of the key pieces that helps Shiba Inu take another big step toward that 1-cent milestone. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that,
whales cannot be stopped. Trillions of Shiba Inu tokens, hundreds of millions of dollars. And the data suggests that this is just the beginning. People are waking up seeing these numbers trying to benefit from this opportunity. But what is actually happening? And how long will this market craze last? Well, let's find out. Disclaimer: the market has pivoted to a recovery phase, but some altcoins still haven't reclaimed their yearly highs despite Bitcoin spiking above the $71,000 threshold. Shiba Inu is also part of this recovery trend, but is facing strong resistance. due to multiple sell walls. A sell wall occurs when a large number of sell orders are placed at a particular price level, creating a barrier that can be difficult for the price to rise above 4. Example, imagine there are 100 Shiba Inu tokens available for sale at 1 penny. If buyers only want to purchase 50 zero tokens at that price, the supply at that level is much higher than that demand, making it hard for the market to buy the tokens that are available at that price to move up past 1 penny. However, there is a way we can surpass these sell walls and achieve new highs for Shiba Inu. But before we dive into that, we need to take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin. Today has been a literally crazy day for Bitcoin, and its impact on Shiba Inu is enormous. Spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds, or ETFs, have achieved their longest streak of consecutive net inflows since they launched, with 18 straight days of positive flows as of Thursday. Since launching in January 2021, the price of Shiba Inu has increased by $1.2 billion, and even though the current inflows are still lower than the peak levels in March, according to the Block's data dashboard, the sustained positive net inflows, especially driven by BlackRock, highlight continued strong interest and confidence in Bitcoin among investors. 18 days in a row of positive inflows definitely gives us a bullish sign. It shows that more investors are putting their money into crypto, which is some very good news for any crypto enthusiast. But traditional investors aren't the only ones accumulating Bitcoin. Just take a look at this crypto whale. According to a report by Wu Blockchain based on research from CryptoQuant, around $1 billion worth of Bitcoin is being added every day to a massive new whale wallet. In total, long-term holders have amassed 70 Bitcoin over the last 30 days, with whale demand increasing at a rate of 4.4% per month. And now you might be wondering if 4.4 is a big number. It definitely is. To put it in perspective, if you start with $10,000 and add 4.4% every month in 5 years, you'd have a lot more than you might expect after 5 years. That 10,000 would grow to around $87,000. This shows how powerful a 4.4% monthly increase can be over time, highlighting the significant impact of the current whale demand on Bitcoin's market. But in addition to that, just today, according to CoinGlass data, Bitcoin open interest has reached a new all-time high peak of $37 billion open. Interest refers to the total dollar amount of Bitcoin in the last 5 years, which is about a third of the total dollar amount of outstanding Bitcoin futures or options contracts. And you might be wondering, is this metric important? Absolutely. Open interest is a crucial indicator of market sentiment and activity in the futures and options markets. A high level of open interest suggests that there is significant trading activity and interest in Bitcoin derivatives, indicating a strong and active market. So while some may have thought that the crypto market is flat and boring right now, it actually isn't. The record-breaking open interest is a significant indicator of the market, and Bitcoin futures and options demonstrates that there is still plenty of excitement and activity happening in the crypto space. But here's something very interesting. Despite the strong inflows and a Bitcoin rally past 71.0, Google Trends data reveals a surprising trend. Compared to 2021, hardly any Americans are conducting searches related to Bitcoin, FSITs, price, or crypto in general. Google Trends assigns a value out of 100 based on a search interest relative peak popularity. For example, on June 5, searches for Bitcoin originating from the US scored only 31, while Bitcoin ETF had a mere 1. Other related searches such as Bitcoin price and crypto received slightly higher index scores of 18 and 13, respectively, but still remained significantly below the search volumes during 2021's retail-driven bull run. Interest in crypto-related searches has dwindled over the year. There were spikes in interest across the board. On January 11th, the price of Bitcoin has been rising for the past year, and the price of Bitcoin has been all-time high for the first time since 2021. It's noteworthy that search interest for Bitcoin peaked in May 2021, a few weeks after surpassing 50,000 for the first time and just before reaching its long-standing all-time high of nearly 69,000 in November 2021. Crypto analyst Miles Dutcher shared data indicating a significant decline in viewership of crypto-related YouTube channels compared to 2021, despite Bitcoin surpassing its previous all-time high in 2021. During Bitcoin's peak, crypto YouTube channels were garnering around 4 million daily views. However, in 2024, despite Bitcoin reaching new highs, daily views have dropped to approximately 800,000. Dutcher emphasized, retail isn't back yet. According to him, there's no better indicator of the current state of the market than crypto YouTube views. This decline in viewership suggests that mainstream retail interest in cryptocurrency has not returned to the level seen during the 2021 bull run, despite Bitcoin's price reaching new heights. But still, with 18 days of Bitcoin ETF inflows and massive whale accumulation, you might wonder, why hasn't the price skyrocketed yet? Where's the impact of these developments? Well, that's a good question. Analyst Jimmy sheds some light on this. He explains that spot Bitcoin ETFs worldwide hold only about 5% of the total Bitcoin circulating supply, while the majority is held by whales. Jimmy notes that while ETF inflows are indeed significant, they are still minimal compared to the volume of Bitcoin being traded and sold by these large holders. He emphasizes that for every buyer in the market, there needs to be a seller, and the actions of these major players can heavily influence price movements. Even though the price might not react immediately, the recent developments such as 18 consecutive days of inflows into Bitcoin, ETFs, and whales accumulating Bitcoin are still considered bullish. This is because these actions demonstrate a growing interest and confidence in Bitcoin as an asset class among both institutional investors and individual traders. While the price might not reflect these developments right away due to various factors influencing the market, such as short-term speculation and profit-taking, the underlying trend indicates a strengthening foundation for Bitcoin's long-term growth. Essentially, these actions lay the groundwork for future price increases. In the long term, the price of Bitcoin is expected to rise to $1.5 billion, which is a significant increase in the market's day-to-day fluctuations. But what about Shiba Inu? Well, if Bitcoin experiences a significant price increase due to recent developments, it will have a massive impact on Shiba Inu. We know that Shiba Inu is highly sensitive to Bitcoin movements and shares a strong correlation with it. Currently, Shiba Inu faces a major obstacle in the form of a massive sell wall, according to Into the Block data. This wall represents a threshold. We're over the top. Over 64,000 addresses collectively hold 69 trillion Shiba Inu tokens, which is over 10% of the entire supply. The selling pressure from these addresses often leads to corrections in Shiba Inu's price, as we've seen in recent movements. As a result, Shiba Inu has retraced most of the gains it made during the recent rally. This situation can be frustrating for Shiba Inu investors, as the presence of such a large sell wall can impede its upward momentum. However, Shiba Inu is now aiming to sell Shiba Inu, stabilize above its current price level, and use it as a foundation for a second upward push when bullish sentiment returns. To surpass this immediate sell wall, Shiba Inu would need to confidently close above 4027. But with the potential upcoming push in Bitcoin's price, according to previous patterns, this should significantly benefit Shiba Inu. This is precisely what we need for Shiba Inu to overcome its current challenges and resume its upward trajectory. But what is your opinion on that? Comment down below. I'd be eager to read your opinion. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then please like this video and don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. This really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please share this video to as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.